1991, Zoo Zurich set out to create a living, breathing model of Madagascar's Mashuala rainforest inside a temperature-controlled hall in the middle of Switzerland. This exhibit of the future would feature over 300 species of animals and 1,000 varieties of plants in a natural tropical environment where one day the animals would even be able to live off the land. Only problem, such an environment would take 25 years to create. By 2002, already 10 years into its evolution, Zoo Zurich was about to finish the exhibit's construction. With the climate control system complete, they now had to bring in 17,000 plants and introduce the lemurs, flying foxes, and other native species. But then, on June 24th, 2002, everything came to a grinding halt when a freak hailstorm struck the exhibit, puncturing hundreds of holes in the priceless shell, allowing Swiss climate to invade the tropical environment. The engineers had to quickly patch the holes. Now, with Zurich's treacherous cold season just months away, if the shell wasn't sealed, the outside climate would kill the forest. The team got to work sealing the holes. Then, to protect the forest in the future, they also developed a third inflatable layer of foil. Designed as a deflector shield, this outer shell would prevent even the largest hailstone from piercing the core. Marino and the team completed the new outer shell just in time. Only weeks later, Zurich was hit by the first snowfall of winter. With the 17,000 plants in place, soon the zoo released all 300 species to inhabit the forest. And next, it would be the public's turn. On June 29, 2003, after 11 years of planning and construction, Zurich's rainforest opened. For the visitor, the journey doesn't start at the edge of the forest, but 100 yards away in a long, dark tunnel designed to prepare each person for what they're about to experience. Leaving Switzerland far behind.
When the visitors pass through the tunnel, he enters an absolutely new environment. He is in the middle of a rainforest. And it's not like a museum where everything is written on, but it's a habitat where he has to use all his senses. He will smell special things. He will enjoy the humidity and the temperature, and he will see a lot of different colors and forms, shapes of plants, and he will hear animals.
Here, there are no barriers between the visitors and the wildlife, a feature that the zoo hopes will broaden the public's focus from just one animal to an entire ecosystem. With the exhibit open, now began the next phase of Mashuala rainforest. One that, if calculated correctly, would be completed by Mother Nature. A self-sustaining ecosystem. For the zoo staff, though, this wasn't a time to just sit back and watch. The keepers here are unlike any in the world because they not only care for the animals, they also care for the entire ecosystem. Thomas Zellweger is Mashuala's head keeper, and it's a job he's passionate about. Each day has him on the move through the forest, where he does everything from trimming the larger trees so seedlings get sun, to making sure the filters remain clear in the pools and streams. Here, keepers never interfere with animals unless it's an emergency, because the plan is to have the forest provide enough food for the animals in 14 years. Until then, Thomas has to scatter baskets of fruits, vegetables, and grubs throughout the forest. All hopefully without the animals associating him with food.
Well, we feed them a lot of different things. We really don't know who eats everything, but they will get everything what they want, what they need. There are salads and monkey food. There are a lot of different food also for the birds.
The only exception to this no-touch rule is a family of giant tortoises, led by a 400-pound male named Big Boy. The family is kept on an island apart from the developing ecosystem. The tortoise's appetite is huge, and since the island's vegetation doesn't suffice, Thomas brings in crates of vegetables daily. But the giant tortoise skin is highly susceptible to infection, so while he's there, Thomas also routinely checks for bugs or stickers. its opening. Mashawalla's population has grown, but it's not because more animals are brought in. Everywhere you look, species are multiplying, a sign that the animals are flourishing. This success may be the solution to the future. With the increasing deforestation of the Madagascar rainforest, the world may someday need this exhibit to reintroduce any lost species of plants or animals back to the island. From a thriving ecosystem to conservation and visitor experience, Mashawalla Rainforest is the zoo of the future. What happens when you put two ferocious grizzly bears right in the middle of a crowded city? Find out next on Ultimate Zoo. To most people, grizzly bears epitomize the ferociousness of wild animals. Any contact with these bears can have dire consequences. Being able to experience the grizzlies in their own domain would be the ultimate wildlife adventure. So, how did one man realize his dream of building the ultimate wilderness habitat in the middle of the city to create the illusion of a natural grizzly encounter? Find out at the Northern Trail exhibit at Seattle's Woodland Park Zoo. The Woodland Park Zoo took the unconventional approach of recreating the wilderness of the Great Northwest on 6 acres to truly capture the feeling of being put in the wild on the grizzly's turf.
What we would like them to feel like is as though they're respectful trespassers in the wild domain of these animals in their natural habitat. In other words, we're encountering these animals on their terms rather than ours.
John Bierlein has more than 30 years of experience in zoos. He has a passion for designing natural exhibits that display the animal's regal nature. His experience dealing with animals has taught John that to properly present and care for animals like the grizzly, he needed an incredible habitat where nature is replicated in a safe environment, creating the illusion that visitors are encountering these bears in the wild. John and his staff achieved the visual effect of wild terrain by emphasizing the delicate balance of the predator-prey relationship. At first glance, it appears as if mountain goats and elk are frolicking, while wolves stalk nearby. The predatory bald eagle seems to be watching from his perch as otters play in the pool, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. Thanks to an ingenious design, this is all an illusion. A series of moats that divide the habitats are carefully camouflaged by plant species indigenous to the northern climate ecosystems. The 16-foot moats not only separate the public from the exhibit, but the exhibits from each other. They give the effect that all of the animals are sharing one habitat, just like they would in the wild.
Have a nice filtered view of the bears here from this viewpoint. So you really do feel like you're trespassing into their environment, I think, here. Quite immersed.
John took the illusion a step further by designing an exhibit that can be routinely changed. Rocks, tree limbs, and other habitat elements are added or removed to give the bears the realistic sense that their environment is changing, just as it would in the wild.
What you don't see is a drawbridge behind this exhibit that enables us to bring heavy equipment in and replace the deadfall, bring in sod, move boulders around so that we can very frequently change this environment so that as the animal lives out its lifetime, it's as though the animal has walked through hundreds of miles of environment during that time.
The two grizzlies who benefit from all this unique habitat are twin brothers, Denali and Kima. These 700-plus pound male bears were brought to the zoo at 11 months and are now 10 years old.